Hello, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. Today's date is Monday, September 22nd, 2025. Yesterday was the memorial service or celebration of life for Charlie Kirk. It was quite the staged event. It's caused a lot of chatter both in the mainstream media and in the alt media community, and I wanted to examine a few points from that day, that event, talk a little bit about Erika Kirk, and then we'll see what the universe wants us to know. Now, one of the things I wanted to set your mind at ease, I'm going to a share screen. Here is an image taken from the celebration of life that has caused some chatter in the alt media community. So let me go to that share screen and share a few items with you, okay? Hang on. This is the screenshot of that event, and there's people that are concerned about what is being signaled here. Well, I want to put your mind at ease. I went to the American Sign Language Association to confirm that indeed what is being signaled here is I love you. And with the upward glance, I think she's wanting Charlie and the Lord she worships to realize that I love you. Nothing nefarious about that. Had it been the hand signal associated with Baphomet, it would have looked like this, with the thumb holding down those two fingers instead of spread out. Let's again take one last peek at the hand signal she did. Obviously, it's an I love you signal, plain and simple. So maybe that'll set your mind at ease on that score. Now, I still had some things that have concerned me, and I want to just share them with you. I looked into Erika's background, and I haven't done it in depth to the degree other people have. I haven't done it extensively, but there are some elements of her background that are a little questionable. And despite the fact that we have to be respectful of the status she has of, the widow thrust into the public eye, but she was already somewhat there before this happened. It's still, now that she is openly and willingly in the public eye even more, examination is probably good to have. You see, before she married Charlie Kirk back in 2010, and I want to make sure I get this right, so let me, I'm going to be doing a little bit of reading. I apologize. Usually I just speak, extemporaneously off the cuff, but I want to make sure I get my facts straight here. Okay, so I'm wondering, is this a case of a polished persona masking or trying to mask a murkier backstory? Her early nonprofit, Romanian Angels, which was launched about 2010, and that was before her marriage to Charlie Kirk, okay? And it was later rebranded to Everyday Heroes about 2015. It focused on Eastern European orphans. But when you dig into old forums and recent ex-posts, you can hit some information. Romanian locals accused this organization of child trafficking in the 2010s. They were claiming that kids from partner orphanages ended up in the UK, Israel, or on private islands under murky adoptions. No charges were ever filed, and Erika's team calls it a baseless smear from anti-American sources. However, this was Romanians speaking about children and their concern about what might have happened to them. You see, in addition to some minor acting roles earlier in life, before marriage and being in part of TPUSA, Erika scouted for talent as a casting agent for TV reality shows. And that gave her a Hollywood polish that feels oddly slick. And I also found it concerning that casting agent is what Chandler used to also have as a job title. That was, to me, was the connection there as far as work history was a little concerning. And now her leap from entertainment to MAGA's faith-driven stage raises questions about authenticity, at least in my mind. Now, I personally don't disagree with any of the messaging that I've heard Erika do. Because, my faith is still pretty standard Christian, even though I've left organized religion. I mean, I haven't left my faith practice. In fact, it's stronger than ever outside of organized religion. So I don't object to her messaging. But what I do kind of have concerns about is that we are being given this Erica, Erica, Erica message and told to put this woman on a pedestal. And I believe that part of the agenda here is to have us unquestioningly adore, look up to, or um, seek to follow without questioning and using logic someone. You see, for millennia, we have been programmed to want heroes, to follow leaders, and not to claim our sovereignty and use our discernment and logic. And I think that if there's a concern I have about this woman, that would be it in a nutshell. Is we are being told, hey, trust her, follow her, don't question her. Okay. And I question everything and everybody, and I encourage you to do the same. You see, one of the things that does still concern me is that there's a lot of MSM outlets that are using glowing language, not just describing events that have happened and her role in them, but using glowing language about her. Everything from inspirational to, you know, well, let's just leave it in inspirational. But some of those sites that do include CNN has used glowing language about her, the New York Times, Washington Post, NBC News, NPR, PBS News, ABC News, CBS News, Fox News, BBC News, and The Guardian. I did filter out those that just reported, and those are the ones that have had glowing terms used for this lady and what's going on with her. Okay? So I think it's wise to maybe step back and take a look and just ask. Again, as I said, the messaging I'm hearing from her, I don't disagree with it in large part. And the small part I do, I'll keep to myself. But I'm concerned that we are being told, or they're attempting to program us to follow, unquestioningly follow, to look up to admire, to emulate, and that's fine. If we have our role models and we do emulate them and look up to them, that's fine, but they should be our role models based on our own decision to have someone or a platform become one that we feel we align with or want to aspire to. So let's just go to the cards and ask. And my question for today is, what does the universe want us to know about the person seen in the public eye as Erika Kirk, widow of Charles Kirk? And I say person seen in the public eye because I've also read a little chatter saying that she has changed her appearance quite a bit over the years. And that can happen when you have enough money to get little tweaks done with cosmetic surgery, etc. But we know often on the world stage, it means that there are multiple people playing a part, that have a role. And so when we ask in this way, we can get the information about the person being seen or that's playing the part of, that's in the public eye, and we can rule out others that are in the background or former players of the part, etc. So I'm going to switch the camera, let you watch me work with the cards, and we'll find out what the universe wants us to know. So Erika Kirk, the person seen in the eye as Erika Kirk, widow of Charlie Kirk, has had a post-tragedy pivot from supportive spouse to a frontline leader and is using her widow's platform to fuse personal piety with populist conservatism. So we want to ask the universe about that. Our question for today is, what does the universe want us to know about the person seen in the public eye as Erika Kirk, widow of Charles Kirk? Maybe nothing to worry about as long as we keep using our discernment. Let's find out. Okay, our first card is the Knight of Wands. Next up is the Sun. Then we have the Three of Swords. In current, we have the Four of Pentacles. Looking forward, we have the Knight of Swords, the Nine of Swords, and the Moon. Okay, guys, I'm going to just kind of cover intuitively what I'm seeing here. First of all, this card showing up, the Three of Swords, when we look at public figures or political figures, always indicates that there's some untruths being shared or sold as truths. And quite often it talks about doubles, clones, 2.0s, etc. So this is really telling here. It's saying, hey, what we've been told about this woman and her background, it is a story that was crafted and created. It's not necessarily exactly the truth. Okay. Now, I understand being in the public eye and you want to put a best foot forward. We're all not going to get on camera and talk about our deep, dark family secrets. And we all have a few of them, or, those family members we're not proud of, or events in our past that we're not proud of. But if you're being told to look up to someone, understand that this person has more going on than what we've been told. So use your discernment, use your logic. Don't just blindly trust and follow as you're being told to, as we've been programmed to. Okay, the Knight of Wands is kind of indicating the situation itself. And this, so it's saying that the person playing the public eye has a lot of energy. They're hoping to have some forward momentum to use her as a figurehead and advance some narratives. Now, as I said, some of what the messaging I'm hearing, I don't disagree with a great deal of it, but what concerns me is the admire to the point of unquestioningly trust and follow, okay? Which is just one hop, skip, and a jump away from trust and obey, which we need to do with discernment and by our own free will choice. The Sun talks about the situation again, letting us know that, as long as you don't just blindly trust and follow, actually she's going to continue to have some good messaging and things moving forward that actually are good and of benefit. So, but again, we've got to keep this in mind here, the Three of Swords. Now, the current right now, they have more plans for it. They've only rolled them out partially for what's going on. They being those monitoring the reception of and the public sentiment of what's happening so far. We have those who are keeping track of chatter that is not thoroughly positive and enthralled. And so they are acting accordingly, but they have more planned. But right now, they're just wanting, okay, well, she seems to be being accepted as the new face of TPUSA. She seems to be being accepted as a widow who was thrust into the public limelight more than she previously was, because make no mistake, she previously was in the public limelight. Both with her acting cameos and as a CEO of her own brand of clothing apparel and, her own on-screen activities. So, which again allows us to take a look at her without feeling bad about it, because we don't want to disrupt someone's privacy if they are not in the public eye, but she is. Okay, so looking forward, Knight of Swords, like I said, they have more planned. They're hoping to use her for larger roles down the road. It depends on people's acceptance of her message and who she is. And there's as far as I can see, the reception is somewhat mixed. There's sympathy. If you just take her at face value of a widow, there's sympathy there. If you respect that she is trying to act with grace and the messaging of forgiving others, as she said she did to those who were behind her loss of her spouse. There's nothing objectionable about that. Like I said, it seems to be pretty honorable, but they're hoping to do more. Those of us that are saying, hey, wait a minute, she was a casting agent. She helped with adoptions, and some of those were questionable, and the kids seemed to disappear into a system or onto islands. What's going on there? We don't have to worry, first of all, that those activities are happening today. She's divorced herself from them to assume this role to the extent that she has. But we do need to know that there's not as much to worry about, there's some. And here, this card talks about more untruths down the road and even possibly a leaving the earthly plane for someone, either her or someone very close to her, because that's just what the cards seem to be saying, guys, and I'm not in charge of the cards. As far as major arcanas go, we've only got 2 so far, which tells me that we're looking into a character that doesn't have a huge role in current and near future events, but does have some worth looking into. I'm going to get some more cards and we'll see what the universe has to tell us. We have the Eight of Swords, King of Wands, Page of Cups, and the final one, Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so these cards added on to the others. These, again, look at the near future for Erika, okay, and what we should know about her. And we're being told that she, right now, again, as I said, haven't moved forward as fast or as much as they wanted to because of some of the chatter about her questionable past. And this rapid rise is of her being thrust into admire, look up to, and do not question her because she suffered. Uh, it has been not accepted as it was hoped. Again, both sides of this spectrum of, dark to light, they want us to unquestioningly adhere to whatever side we align with. And questioning is our right as sovereign beings. And even if that questioning brings us to, oh, well, nothing big to worry about, it's still our right to do. So I personally, anytime someone says, hey, look up to, trust, admire, I want to. And if the facts say that that's a wise thing to do, I'll do it. But I'm going to think about it and look for myself first. And I advise you always, always, always to do the same. Okay, the King of Wands is one of accomplishment and optimism. So they're optimistic again that her role is going to, if not as large as they had initially hoped, is still going to be valuable for especially for the evangelical arm of the MAGA movement. And then finally, we've got the Page of Cups saying that um, there's going to be there's some guidance happening to her. Again, she is not operating, I don't think, completely on her own. She's definitely playing a role and being guided in that role. And the Wheel of Fortune just says, as things change, we're going to learn more and know more. The Wheel of Fortune never stands still. So this woman's place in the public eye is either going to rise or fall. It's not going to be static. So again, if you, like me, are somewhat concerned about how we're being told to admire, look up to, and unquestioningly align ourselves with anything that comes from this woman and or organization she supports. I just say think for yourself. Again, like I said, I'm a little troubled by this card here showing for the recent past as well as the moon card. So again, there's going to be some times that we're not getting the true story here. There's more going on, or there's some big changes that are happening. Maybe a 3.0 coming along. Who knows? Let's recap. Yesterday, there was a celebration of life for Charlie Kirk, and one of the key players in that event was his widow, Erika Kirk. We are being told to admire this woman, look up to her, unquestioningly adore her. And it's one thing to have a heart for what she's been through. And I do admire a lot of the messaging she's putting out. My only concern as just a thinking, rational person who does their own research when possible is this trust, trust, don't question. How dare you say anything negative about this woman? Well, she has some questionable things in her past that are worth looking at. And we know that our past is not necessarily our present. All of us have, actions and things that we might need to explain or move beyond or ask for forgiveness for. But one of the things in her past was the fact that hang on, I want to get it just right. She had a nonprofit called Romanian Angels, which was launched in 2010. And Romanian forums talked about how these children that were adopted, uh, she was accused openly by them of child trafficking. They claimed that partner orphanages ended up in the UK, Israel, or private islands. And while no charges were ever filed, and Erika's team calls that a baseless smear from anti-American sources, those anti-American sources were the very people that were entrusting their orphans into her care. So that was before she was married to Charlie Kirk and before her association with TPUSA. And another thing that I found concerning was that she worked as a TV and reality show casting agent. She scouted for talent, and that just seemed too similar to the role played by Rachel Chandler, or Handler. Rachel, yeah, you know who I'm talking about, right? Rachel Chandler. And I just wondered, what's going on with this woman? Let's take a look at her. Okay. Well, a lot of her messaging I don't disagree with. I just was a little concerned with how we are being told, look up to, admire, and adore this woman and do not question her past or her motives or anything going on. And the role the media is playing, especially the mainstream, in amplifying her as to be someone to hold in high regard, I find a little bit troubling. So we asked the cards about it. And the cards told us, first of all, in the past, we haven't heard about her past honestly, and the chatter that there has possibly been others playing the role. Again, we're watching a movie, has a lot of accuracy to it. The Three of Swords showed up for the past. Now, currently, not as much to worry about. Again, her messaging right now is very much devout and family focused, and nothing nefarious about it at all. The only thing is, it's just like I said, she's been amplified as a role model, someone we should look up to, someone we should admire, someone we should not question. And that is the concerning element. And it is a point of concern that's going to continue in the near future. The moon card showed up, which again talks about some untruths and possibly some more casting changes to come in the near future. As we looked at the near future, we were told, while there are some elements of her past that are troubling, things we need to be aware of, there's not as much to worry about as the deep, dark naysayers are saying. So, as always with that one, that's not a great card, but it does, the one plus of that card is, there's not as much to worry about this person or the situation as you think there might be. And ultimately, she's going to be doing maybe not as much as she hoped or was originally hoped for this character in the movie, but she is going to be continuing to have a really positive message that she puts forth. And so while we need to be aware that there's a questionable element to her past, and we probably ought to have some concern for the fact that so many mainstream outlets just adore her and sing glowing praises about her, because anytime the MSN, CNN, CBS News, ABC News all speak highly of her, that to me is like, whoa, who paid them off? And then you may have the same reaction too when you see somebody getting no bad press. Makes you wonder, and wondering leads to questioning, and questioning is always good to do, because before we make up our minds or choose to follow or go on a similar path as someone, it's good to think about it, mull it over, pray it over, and decide for yourself. So I think what the cards are saying kind of aligns with what my intuition was telling me. And that is no bad messaging here. There's no big, deep, dark plan. The woman is being given to us, hopefully as a role model. They'd love it if we accepted her unquestioningly, but basically her message is not going to be one that's nefarious in any way, other than just like, yeah, don't question, just adore, don't question. Look up to me, follow my advice. You don't have to read it for yourself. I'll tell you what to think. And haven't they done enough of that as we've gone through this crazy world and changes in the waking up process? So that's it for this video. I thank you so much for your time and attention. I wish the best for everybody, and that best includes, if you're willing to receive it, wishing you love, light, and everything bright. Until next time, bye.